Do you work with someone who makes you dread waking up in the morning? Someone who makes you want to hit the snooze? Someone who just sucks the life out of you? Well, in this series, we're going to talk about how to deal with those people. The people who zap the fun out of getting up and going to work. The people who make you dread pulling off the freeway and into the parking lot. Today, we're going to talk about how to deal with the bossy coworker. The coworker who thinks it's their job to tell you what to do and how to do it. The one who reminds you when you're wrong, even when you're not. The demanding, overbearing, and flat out rude coworker. But don't worry. Don't trudge across the parking lot just yet. We're going to make your work life better with just 2 questions.
Hi guys. Alright, today we are moving on in our video series about how to deal with that person. Today we're talking about how to deal with that bossy coworker.
I'm bossy.
We all know them. We all love to talk about them. Let's ask the 2 questions. Why do they do it? And how can we make it stop? So the first reason someone might be a bossy coworker is their own fears and their own insecurities. For instance, they might be scared of looking bad.
How do I look?
If you're on the same team, then your performance does affect their performance. Your team is delivering a product. And if your bossy coworker knows what the expectations and standards are, they're going to want to make sure that that product is the absolute best, which means your portion has to be the absolute best too. And if they're worried that you might not deliver the absolute best, they're going to make sure that you know how to do it. That's so that they can look good. So it's all about how your supervisor and their supervisor sees them. They want to make sure that they're seen as proficient and capable and putting out something that you can be proud of. Now the next part of that fear or insecurity could just be a compulsion to see things done right. Maybe they're a perfectionist, and in that case, if you've taken our Enneagram Amplified course, you know that there's a little tiny voice in their head that's constantly telling them that things could be better, and it's really hard to not let that voice out of the box. So it could just be that they see things that need improvement and can't help but tell you about it.
I know this can be obnoxious,
but keep in mind that they are seeing the world the way it could be, and it could be perfect, and that's what they're going for. Now, the third thing they might be scared of is
not measuring up.
So they may be intimidated by you. They may feel competitive, and they may be worried that you might outcompete them. So they're going to look for reasons why you aren't. And then they're going to give you feedback about how you could be better, because that helps them feel better about themselves. So fear and insecurity is really something that can cause these bossy coworkers to really act out and be in your face telling you
what to do, when to do it, and how to do it.
Now, the second reason that someone might be a bossy coworker is because you aren't performing the way you could be.
I know this is hard to think about.
But oftentimes what happens is a bossy coworker's insecurities or fears cause them to be bossy. And then you, having a little bit of a defiant bone in your body.
Defiant? No, not me.
Actually acts out what they are trying to avoid. So let's take, for instance, you have a bossy coworker who is always reminding you what time it is, making sure that you're on time, what day it is, what responsibilities are supposed to be done that day, and making sure that you're on schedule. Well, what can tend to happen is you start being off schedule, late, and not getting things done on time on purpose, just to be defiant against this bossy coworker. Yeah, nope, we've all done it. We have all pushed the limits, and we have all pushed back when we are pushed on. which is something that can often happen. We actually get the exact results that we're trying to avoid by our behavior. So your bossy coworker actually gets the results that they are trying to avoid by making sure to remind you to be on time. In reminding you to be on time, they actually cause you to want to be late to everything. The second reason why someone might be bossy is because you actually need to be bossed. So, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to calm these fears? How are we going to make sure that we don't need to be bossed around? Well, first we need to understand. We need to understand what the bossy coworker is scared of and what motivates them. Now, they're usually opposite things. So if they're scared of looking bad to their supervisor, then
Their motivation is to look good.
if they're scared of not measuring up, then their motivation will be to be on top and to be viewed as competent and proficient and a productive part of the team. So we need to understand where their fears are coming from and understand what motivates them, because then we can use that to our advantage. We can make sure that we don't trigger the fears, and we can make sure to help them and succeed in the ways that motivate them. Now, number 2 is that we need to make sure that we don't give them a reason.
Know the standards and execute them well.
Exactly the way they're intended. This can be tough because if your bossy coworker has a different set of standards than you do, then whose standards are right?
Mine, clearly.
Your bossy coworker will always be telling you how they want it to be done when you feel like you're doing it good enough or to the standard. So how can we make sure that we're on the same page? Well, checklist, grids, written policies, all of these things are really helpful to make sure that everybody is on the same page and performing the way they need to. Number 3 is to have some empathy, especially if this person is fearful of you outperforming them or of themselves not measuring up. Have some empathy. That's a really scary place to live. In a place where you feel like you're just constantly not good enough, or you can't possibly succeed, or you can't possibly be better than the next person. When your self-worth is so tied to what other people see and feel about you, it's a scary place to live, and we all feel that way sometimes.
We all want to be liked. We all want to be accepted.
And we all want to succeed and have our managers say, "Good job, you did it, you're on the right track," right? We want to get the fist bump. Well, maybe we don't want to get a fist bump. Maybe that's kind of cheesy. But we want to get the pat on the back. We want to get the kudos, right? Now, the 4th thing to do to stop your bossy coworker in their tracks is actually just to talk to them. Now, there's a great book out there called Crucial Conversations. I'm going to put the link below that you should definitely check out because it walks you through how to have these conversations step by step. You need to start and make sure that your bossy coworker is in a safe place when you confront them. So you need to wait until you are emotionally calm, cool, and collected to have this conversation. But when you do, it might sound something like this.
I know you don't mean to, but when you remind me to be on time for every single meeting, it makes me feel like you don't trust that I can be on time by myself. Is there anything I can do so that you can have some faith in my ability to be punctual?
Now you can pretty much insert anything into these blanks. So basically the script is like this. I know you don't mean it when you blank, but it really makes me feel blank. Is there anything I can do to blank? And that's kind of the way that script goes. So try it out, have the conversation, but again, remember you have to be in a good headspace. All right, so to review. A bossy coworker might boss you around either because they're scared or feeling insecure or because you actually need it. But it's okay because there's 4 things you can do about it. You need to understand what their fears are, what their motivations are. You need to make sure you don't give them any reasons, so know the standards and agree on them as a group. You need to have some empathy. Remember, it's a scary place where they live, especially if they're in a place of insecurities. And then lastly, you can talk to them. Make sure you make it a safe and calm conversation. All right, you guys. So that is it for how to deal with a bossy coworker. If you haven't already seen how to deal with a micromanager, make sure you check out that. And we've got lots of other how to deal with that person videos coming your way. Have a great day, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell, and hit the like button if you're enjoying these videos.